This is the third part of Module 1D, which we've been studying for the past two modules. We've been attempting to look at the causes of the First World War, and in the process, we have gone through imperialism. We studied imperialism as a cause to the First World War. We looked at how the alliance systems also contributed in uh, uh, the advancement towards conflict in Europe towards the First World War. And then we looked at militarism as also one of the factors that helped move the European continent closer and closer towards World War One. Finally, in this last part of Module 1D, I want us to look at extreme nationalism and, uh, and see how it helps us understand the outbreak of World War One. Now, in order to fully grasp, have a proper understanding of what happened in Europe with regards to extreme nationalism, it is important for us to understand the politics in the Balkans. Now, this is crucial because this was actually where the initial spark, or what we call the trigger, of the First World War took place. Now, the European empires, the empires that were in Europe, which we have known for a while now, we're looking at the Russian Empire, we're looking at the Austro-Hungarian Empire, also the German Empire. We saw that these major empires, including the Ottoman Empire, which is somewhere around here, including the Ottoman Empire, we saw that this empire we can see here, this area is the area that occupies, that the Ottoman Empire occupies, which is modern day Turkey for now. And these empires, the competition between these empires, created an atmosphere that was eventually going to lead up to the outbreak of the First World War. Now, the important thing to note with regards to extreme nationalism was the fact that some of these empires were beginning to crumble, especially two major empires, that is the Ottoman Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And the Ottoman Empire and the Austro-Hungarian Empire were the empires that occupied the Balkans. Now, some of the nations that you see here are actually the Ottoman Empire. You can see the Ottoman Empire here. That this is a same map. This is a similar map to the other, but this map is prior to 1914, while this one is after 1914. This map is after 1914, while this one is before 1914. So we can see the Ottoman Empire right here. And the Ottoman Empire had control of, most of the territories that we see over here. At some point in time, the Ottoman Empire even controlled Greece, and the countries that we see here, Bulgaria, Serbia, Albania, were countries that were under the influence and at some point in time were under the control of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, as we see here. Now, what happened with regards to extreme nationalism was that these empires began to be weakened. When we approached the later part of the 1800s, these empires began to weaken, and by the early 1900s, some of them began to lose control over the nationalities that were under them, most especially the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Now, if you look at the Austro-Hungarian Empire, you will see that Serbia as a nation was very close to Austro-Hungary, and Serbians are spread all over the Balkan region. So there are a large number of Serbians inside of the Austro-Hungarian Empire in Bosnia. So the Serbians during this period of the weakening of the Austro-Hungarian Empire desired a nation of their own. What they felt was that it is time for them as Serbians, you understand, to have a greater nation, a nation that incorporated all the other Serbians who were in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Now, this was not to the interest of the Austro-Hungarians, because they felt that any attempt by the state of Serbia to incorporate the Serbians that were inside of Austria-Hungary into the nation of Serbia will result into other nationalities within the Austro-Hungarian Empire asking for independence. Of course, we have so many other nationalities within the Austro-Hungarian Empire. We have the Czechs, we have the Slovaks, we have, so many, the Slavs, we have so many of them. So the Austro-Hungarians were afraid of what we call irredentism, that is extreme nationalism expressed by the Serbians, a desire by the Serbians to create their own nation, a larger nation, a greater Serbia, so to speak, that incorporated all the other Serbian tribes that were inside of Austria-Hungary. So this created tensions between the state of Serbia and the Empire of Austria-Hungary. And these tensions were later going to create a situation that will result into, into conflict between Serbia, okay, and Austria-Hungary, the Empire of Austria-Hungary. And there were certain things that sparked off this particular conflict, which we're going to see. Now, number one, the tensions between Serbia and Austria-Hungary had been increasing. They had been increasing. They had been going on for a while. And subsequently, when the Austrian crown prince, because at this point in time, the Austrian monarch, King Albert, was very old, and the Austrian crown prince, Prince Franz Ferdinand, was preparing himself, to move into the shoes of his father. But he had different foreign policy ideas with regards to the relationship that Austria-Hungary as an empire had with Serbia. So he was trying to look at the possibilities, of bringing or settling the disputes between Serbia and Austria-Hungary. So he decided in 1914 to visit this particular place in Bosnia. He decided to visit this particular place in Bosnia, okay? The capital of Bosnia. He decided to visit the capital of Bosnia, which is Herzegovina, which is here at this point. And what happened when he visited that place was he intended to use that visit as an opportunity to, better the relationships between, Serbia and Austria. But unfortunately, during his visit, he was assassinated. The Crown Prince of Austria-Hungary, Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated by a Bosnian Serb named Gavrilo Princip. Now, this brought about very serious international tensions between Serbia and Austria-Hungary. Now, there was no way that Serbia could explain away that the fact that they were not responsible for the assassination of the Crown Prince. Because the person who assassinated the Crown Prince was a Serb from Bosnia. He was not a Serb from Serbia, but he was a Serb who was a nationality of Bosnia, which was inside of Austria-Hungary. So the visit of Franz Ferdinand to the capital of Bosnia, Sarajevo, was as an attempt, to create peaceful environment, now became one of the triggers of the First World War. Because when this young man, he was a student, when this young man assassinated the Crown Prince, it became very difficult for the Serbians to deny that they had no involvement in the assassination of the Crown Prince. Now, this brings us to the end of the third part of this module. And we are going to round up in the fourth part of the module.